Healing is a journey that changes everything. At first, it can feel lonely and uncomfortable. You may wonder why certain people are drifting away, or why the things you once enjoyed no longer bring you happiness. But as you grow, you begin to see the beauty in this transformation. You start to understand that healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about becoming the person you were always meant to be. It's about shedding the weight of past pain, stepping into your power, and choosing yourself for the first time. This journey will make your circle smaller, but it will make your life richer. As you begin to heal, you will notice that some people liked you better before, when you were uncertain, when you doubted yourself, when you did not yet know the depth of your own power. These people thrived on your insecurities because it made you easier to control, easier to manipulate, easier to keep small. But as you grow, as you step into your strength, their ability to play games with you diminishes. You begin to recognize the difference between those who genuinely love you and those who simply love what you can do for them. The friendships that once felt comforting may start to feel suffocating. The conversations that once felt engaging may now feel empty. Your circle will grow smaller, but it will become stronger. The people who remain will be those who respect your boundaries, celebrate your growth, and love you for who you are, not for what you can give them. Healing refines your discernment. You stop feeding relationships that leave you empty. You stop overextending yourself for people who never pour into you. You recognize the difference between companionship and dependency, between love and obligation. And because of this, you no longer feel guilty for letting go of what no longer serves you. You choose depth over quantity, sincerity over pretense. Your heart becomes a place of truth, not a home for pretenders. One of the most profound shifts that comes with healing is that you no longer seek validation from others. You become your own source of worth, your own source of love. Whereas before, you looked outward for approval, now you look within. You realize that your value isn't determined by how many people like you, how often you are invited out, or how well you fit into someone else's expectations. You stop trading pieces of your soul just to be accepted. You no longer beg for seats at tables that were never meant for you. With this newfound self-awareness, solitude becomes a gift rather than a punishment. The silence that once felt deafening now feels peaceful. The loneliness that once terrified you now feels like sacred space. You no longer need distractions to escape yourself. You no longer need to be surrounded by people just to feel whole. Instead, you embrace your own company, enjoying the quiet moments that allow you to reconnect with yourself. Whereas before, you feared losing people, now you fear losing yourself. You realize that sacrificing your well-being just to maintain connections is too high a price to pay. You stop chasing those who are not meant for you. You stop mourning the loss of relationships that ended because they were not aligned with your growth. You make peace with the fact that some people are only meant to be in your life for a season, not a lifetime. Your priorities shift in ways that surprise even you. Where you once worried about being left out, now you worry about being surrounded by the wrong people. You no longer crave superficial connections or meaningless interactions. Instead, you seek authenticity, depth, and shared values. You understand that peace is more valuable than popularity. Healing grounds you in a way that external validation never could. Your happiness becomes an internal affair, something that isn't dictated by circumstances or the presence of others. You stop searching for joy in external places, realizing that true fulfillment comes from within. Instead of constantly chasing excitement, you find peace in stillness, in simplicity, in being present with yourself. You stop hiding from your thoughts, from your emotions, from your truth. You no longer need to numb yourself with overworking, overgiving, or unhealthy coping mechanisms. You no longer need distractions to avoid your pain. Instead, you face yourself fully, embracing every part of who you are, the light and the shadows, the scars and the healing, the fears and the strength. Healing brings a quiet confidence. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself to anyone. You stop competing. You stop comparing. You stop chasing illusions. You understand that the best thing you can do for yourself is to live authentically, to pursue your dreams without apology, to walk your path without worrying about who approves of it. You embrace the beauty of living on your own terms. And one day, you wake up and realize you are happy. Not because everything in your life is perfect, but because you have made peace with yourself. You no longer need to chase happiness. It has found you right where you are. And in that moment, you smile, knowing that your life as it is enough. One of the most profound examples of personal transformation in the Bible is the story of Saul's conversion to Paul. Saul was a man of status, influence, and power who actively persecuted Christians. He was deeply entrenched in his own ways until he had a divine encounter on the road to Damascus. Suddenly, a light from heaven flashed around him. He fell to the ground and heard a voice say to him, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" Blinded by the encounter, Saul was led to Damascus, where he fasted and prayed. When Ananias, a disciple of Christ, laid hands on him, Saul's sight was restored, and he was filled with the Holy Spirit. This marked his transformation into Paul, a man who once destroyed Christians, now became one of the greatest apostles in history. Paul's transformation cost him many relationships and his former identity. People who once respected him rejected him. But through healing, he no longer sought the approval of men, but lived for God's purpose? Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I will not be a servant of Christ. Like Paul, when we heal and step into our purpose, some will no longer accept us. But that's okay, because true freedom comes when we are no longer slaves to the opinions of others. Before beginning his public ministry, Christ spent 40 days and nights in the wilderness, fasting and praying. This period of solitude prepared him for his calling and strengthened him against the temptations of the devil. Matthew chapter 4 verse 1 states, "Then Christ was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil." During this time, Satan tried to tempt Christ with food, power and recognition, but he resisted, standing firm in his identity and purpose. Healing often requires stepping away from the noise of the world to truly understand oneself. Just as Christ did not need to prove himself to Satan, a healed person no longer seeks external validation. They find peace within themselves and God. Man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. Christ emerged from his time in the wilderness stronger, prepared for his mission. Similarly, when we embrace solitude and heal, we become anchored in our own lives, no longer seeking distractions or approval from the world. True growth often means losing old connections, but gaining something far greater: peace, purpose, and a deeper relationship with God. At the end of it all, healing teaches you one of life's greatest lessons. You are enough just as you are. You no longer need to seek validation from others or chase after things that do not serve you. Peace is no longer something you search for, it lives within you. The relationships you now keep are genuine, your heart is lighter, and your soul is free. And one day, you will look back and realize that every loss, every moment of solitude, and every step you took towards healing was worth it. Because now you are truly home within yourself. Thank you for watching, and may God bless you.